Hey everyone, and welcome to This Explainer. Today we're going to dive right into a really fascinating story about two brothers, Ethan and Sam. And through their story, we're going to uncover a massive, powerful lesson about what it literally takes to achieve our biggest goals. We talk about success all the time, right? But we rarely pause to break down the actual nuts and bolts mechanics of why one person succeeds while another just completely gives up. Well, this simple fable of the golden apple tree, it gives us a pretty perfect blueprint to examine those exact mechanics.
But first, be honest with me here for a second. Have you ever given up on a goal just because it didn't happen overnight? I mean, we have all felt that frustration for sure. You start a new project, you put in this huge burst of energy on day one, and then when the results aren't immediately staring you in the face, you just kind of want to throw your hands up and say, what's the point? That craving for instant gratification is incredibly common, especially when we're trying to do something meaningful. And frankly, it's exactly the trap we're going to explore today.
All right, let's set the scene. Meet our two main guys, Ethan and Sam. They both lived in this peaceful village, and, crucially, they shared the exact same dream. They both wanted to grow the biggest, most beautiful fruits in the entire valley, with one really noble purpose: to help out their family. I really want to highlight this because it's super important. They started from the exact same place with the exact same ambitious goal. So the totally different outcomes they ended up with, it had nothing to do with where they started. It was 100% about how they approached the journey.
So things really kick off one sunny morning when a wise old farmer visits their village and gives both brothers a very special seed. He gives them specific instructions, but leaves them with this one massive warning. These seeds have magical power, but they require time, love, and daily care. Now, really listen to what he didn't say there. He didn't say, hey, these are going to sprout overnight. The magic of the seed was totally real, but it was conditional. Unlocking it meant a serious investment of time and consistent daily effort.
And this is the exact moment where their mindsets completely split. Sam? Well, he was wildly impatient. He basically treated this magical seed like a microwave dinner. He planted it, dumped a whole bucket of chemical fertilizer on it, and literally expected a full-grown tree by the very next day. He wanted to force the process. But Ethan embraced a totally different philosophy. He understood the absolute value of hard work, the unglamorous, gritty, daily grind. Out there sweating under the hot sun, he watered his seed every single day, meticulously pulled out the weeds, and stood guard. He wasn't looking for some secret shortcut. He was all in on the process.
Well, shocker, right? When Sam didn't get those immediate overnight results from his little chemical fertilizer hack, his impatience just boiled over. He completely threw a tantrum, quit right then and there, and blamed the seed, actually shouting, "This seed is useless!" So instead of, questioning his own rush methods or his total lack of effort, he just abandoned the whole shebang. While Ethan was out there working, Sam was just wasting his time complaining. It is such a stark reminder of how incredibly fast we can sabotage our own potential when we let impatience take the wheel.
Let's shift back to Ethan for a second and just look at the sheer scale of his dedication. Think about the time passing here. For days, he was basically just watering dirt, no visible progress. Days slowly turned into weeks of clearing away weeds just so the seed had room to breathe. Weeks turned into agonizing months of constantly guarding the spot from birds. It was silent, lonely, patient work. He had zero visual proof that any of this was actually doing anything, but he never lost hope. He just trusted the farmer's process.
And then, bam, the payoff. After a full year of waiting, an entire year of that quiet, patient daily grind, a literal miracle happened. A giant, magnificent tree finally broke through and grew in Ethan's garden. And we're not talking about just any tree here. It was loaded with these glowing, sweet, golden apples. The result was so mind-blowing that the whole village literally came out just to stare at it. Ethan's quiet discipline compounded over a year into something completely extraordinary. It proved the old farmer was right. The magic was absolutely there, if you were willing to put in the work.
Now, here's where it gets even better. How Ethan actually used this ultimate reward. Remember their original goal way back at the start, to help their family? Ethan systematically turned all that hard work into real-world action. First, he sold those delicious golden apples. Then, he used that money to buy a beautiful new house for his family, totally securing their future. But he didn't even stop there. He took that prosperity and turned it into pure generosity, sharing the rest of the fruits with all the poor villagers. He literally lifted up his entire community just through the sheer force of his own sustained effort.
But of course, that leaves us with a pretty heavy emotional contrast.
While Ethan was literally enjoying the fruits of his labor, Sam was forced to just stand on the sidelines in silence. Talk about a tough pill to swallow. He finally realized his massive mistake. I mean, he had the exact same magical seed. He had the exact same opportunity. The only thing standing between him and Ethan's incredible reality was his own refusal to endure the process. He traded a golden apple tree for the 5-minute satisfaction of throwing a tantrum and quitting.
So, before we wrap this explainer up, let's distill this down to its core. The foundation of this whole story rests on two absolutely beautiful concepts: sabar, which means patience, and mehnet, which translates to hard work. And you know, these aren't just independent ideas. They're like the twin engines of any real achievement. Mehnet is the daily watering, the weeding, the sweating under the hot sun. But sabar? That's the mental fortitude to keep doing that mehnet for days, weeks, and months without losing your mind when you don't see instant results. You absolutely 100% need both.
Which brings us to the ultimate takeaway here. And obviously, this applies far beyond just farming or tending a garden. Great things take time. True success, it is never, ever an overnight phenomenon. Whether you're building a massive career, trying to master a new skill, or just improving your own life, it is the strict result of dedication over time. Hard work and patience, sabar and mehnet, they always lead to sweet success. The real magic is just in the consistency.
So I'm going to leave you with this final thought to chew on regarding your own life and your own ambitions. Take a hard look at the goals you're chasing right now. Are you acting like Sam? Are you pouring chemical fertilizer on your goals, rushing the process, and gearing up to quit if it doesn't pan out by tomorrow? Or are you willing to be like Ethan, putting in that quiet, patient, deeply unglamorous daily work, trusting that your golden apples are growing just beneath the surface? Really think about that. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.